Your office is in Windsor.
The office is in Windsor, and
your neighbours.
Which is where I've come.
Without spending time going through your 12 months of your Twitter feed, what's really got your goat the last year?
Well, I think what's upset me the most in the last couple of months, not that I disagreed with the whole concept of point of consumption. I did agree with it. I do think it should be a level playing field in terms of a UK vet from a UK customer should be paying into the UK UK revenues and should be paying into UK racing and everything else like that. I agree with that. I agree with that concept. I'm aware that the larger concerns are experts in moving the money around. I know that it won't deal with the problem in its entirety. It's only a part ways. But what's vexed me the most since that point of consumption has come in is my fees and the fees of all the independents, all the independent bookmakers. And it has to be said at the outset that the independent bookmakers went down in 1 year last year. They went down by 17%. 17% of the business of the independent businesses went out of business last year in 1 year alone. So they're under pressure out there. And so in a way, I guess I'm speaking for them. But what landed on my plate, or landed on my doormat actually, and fractured the concrete underneath the mat, was the Gambling Commission's bill. Now, I run a small website. We have a couple of thousand customers, and we look after them and everything like that. And of course, in order to provide a service for them, you have to, give the modern day customer all the various tools that he's used to from big firms in terms of betting. You need to give them an app. You need to give them an interactive website. You need to give them competitive prices. Well, we seek to do all that as a company. Of course we do. But for my little small company, and we were landed with a bill from the Gambling Commission for running my website of £13,500. So this is a license fee. It's the minimum charge. So for a bookmaker running a little betting shop in Devon who decides to run a little website for his customers and take bets if they want to, which I would think would be a natural progression in business if you want to survive. The internet is the way things are going.
Yeah.
The very minimum charge, as laid out by the DCMS and backed up by the Gambling Commission, and I say backed up because they've done nothing about these charges. They've not argued them down significantly. So we got a charge of £13,500. Now, to put it into perspective for people that are watching this, a company such as Bet365, a super giant in the betting world, the super giants, with 14 million customers and 5 million, they say 5 or 3 million active customers, will pay a fee to the Gambling Commission of under 150 grand. So this means that my little firm, and all little firms like mine, are worth more than 11–12% of Bet365 or Betfair or William Hill. These are super global companies, and their websites are extremely advanced. They've got millions of customers, but yet we appear to be, in fact, not appear to, but we are subsidising these operations through our Gambling Commission fees. I mean, to ask a little operator to pay £13,500 for what is a natural progression in business because Jenny Williams of the Gambling Commission is ill prepared to see the merits of or take the case forward to the DCMS. She's in charge of the Gambling Commission, and it's evident that she's completely ambivalent about the situation. It doesn't matter to her whether a few independents go out of business because their costs are excessive. She can't see the parallel as a civil servant that little companies shouldn't be even close to these firms. And the fact that the fees are extortionate, and the fact remains that when one looks at the global face of gambling, when one looks at what the Gambling Commission actually have to regulate, there were 2,900 independent operators on the Gambling Commission's website, and they had 9 revocations since 2011. That means 9 people have had their licenses taken away. Likes of, I think it's Bodog.
Right. Oh,
like had their licenses taken away because they weren't paying their customers and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Well, which is a success rate, if you call it that, a justification rate of far less than 1%, about 0.3% of actual revocations of license of independence. So therefore their purpose, their very means for spending their £17 million worth of fees, which is basically their salaries, shows a very low success rate, because of course the majority of the fees are gained from the independents, not from the major firms. The compliance issues involved with large successful companies like, say, William Hill are massive. They're running bingo operations, they're running fob teas, and these are the companies with the most compliance issues to deal with. Now what they've argued is that, well, we'll deal with it in-house in order to avoid their share of the Gambling Commission's costs. William Hill have successfully argued, and Ladbrokes and Corals and Betfair and all the rest of them have argued that what they will do is they will self-regulate. And so therefore the Gambling Commission take the view, well, we don't need to charge them as much as we charge a little independent, because regulating one shop is the same as regulating the other 2,300 shops, and the same as view of their online and things like that. Now, the fact remains that they will spend the majority of their time dealing with compliance issues with companies like Bet365. But the investment that the on-course bookmakers have made in themselves these days, these electronic boards are like £7,000 or £8,000 each. So most bookmakers are standing there in £12,000 worth of equipment, and then they pay support charges and everything else like that. So they've made a substantial investment in the customer ideal. The only problem is that they've gone too far, and so and I would like racetracks to look at ways to restrict their activities with betting exchanges on track, because they have specialised software that allows them to negotiate wagers with exchange at super fast speed, which means I bet next to Martin of Leicester at Ascot the other day, and if a horse was 2.1, he would be 11 to 10, literally 11 to 10. I don't know how he does it. I did observe to him at the time that he was doing himself, and I asked him what car he drove, and Martin confirmed that he's driving around in a station wagon, and I do believe that he will drive around in a station wagon for the rest of his life, because betting that way has very little return. But that basically he can do that because he can negotiate bets with the exchange at super fast speed. Well, I'd love the situation to be where the racetracks use their power and stop to that activity.
I'm in shock. You went to Leicester?
No, Martin of Leicester I'm talking about. Wouldn't go to Leicester. I'm not sure I know where it is on the map.
I was in the Stated Shop there for a
in the
moment.
West Country. Yeah. The final point I would make about the Gambling Commission is the fact that all these new licences that they are reaping, all these transitional fees of £800–900 that they're charging all these companies, and all these new website fees that they're collecting from companies based out in Malta and Gibraltar and Ireland and everywhere else on the planet that they're now collecting from people, and new operators that have to come in-house, haven't seen a reduction in the fees from that the independents pay. Not a penny. So they're gaining all that extra money, all these extra fees, literally millions, have come in, that will come in this year and next year in extra fees, but no reduction. Why? Why no reduction? Well, point of consumption is a good thing. I mean, I agree with it. I agree with the concept.
And just explain the concept.
The concept is a customer in the UK who bets in the UK, regardless of who he bets with and where, the firm that takes the bet must be regulated and licensed in the United Kingdom and fall under Gambling Commission control. But if that means that Gambling Commission control means that I have to subsidise that, and all my colleagues out there have to subsidise these big firms in terms of the fees that I pay. Try to equate an organisation like mine, or somebody running a couple of betting shops that wants to try to expand their business and offer an app and offer a website and whatever, and turn around to them and say, well, we want £15,000–16,000 for you for our fees, which means we're effectively employing a member of staff at the Gambling Commission. That's what it is. I'm paying for another member of staff at the Gambling Commission, and I've seen them once in 3 years. Once in 3 years. They come around for a cup of coffee, have a chat, they ask me, is anybody self-excluded? Nonsensical questions, just things that they sit around the table and they dream up things to do. because there is no compliance issues for firms like mine. We can't do business with 16-year-olds, you know, off the street. We don't have any FOPTI, we don't have any bingo, we don't have any roulette. You know, we don't let people sit there all night funding their accounts with credit cards, emptying all their credit card accounts, not debit cards, credit cards. We don't allow them to do that. So therefore we are no compliance issue. But thanks, Geoff, give me £16,000 to regulate you. Well, I like to see a return on my money, and I'm not getting it.
Okay. But by the time I've edited this, you will have paid your bill. The letter that you tweeted, the bill you tweeted. I presume you will have.
I will have paid my bill.
Paid your subs.
I will have paid my subs under duress, but that won't be where it ends, then.
Oh. Were there such subs in your dad's day?
£20.
20 what?
£20.
Your dad paid to be a bookie?
£20. It was £20 an annual fee, £20, and I believe that for a certain amount of time you only had to apply back to you'd have to reapply for your licence every 2 years, and you would pay £20 every 2 years.
What could be done? What one positive thing could be done to lift the spirits of punters and bring more in?
It is down to the control of the ruling body. Right now they don't have enough control, they don't have enough power to force the racetracks back from Saturday racing, because we have too much, you know, we have too many jewels on a Saturday and too little to offer on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And you know, and I think in order to make the punters want to walk in to have a bet on British racing on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, we have to encourage the racetracks somehow to go back to racing midweek. The problem is, of course, they're going to engender more corporate spend on a Saturday. Yeah, boxes are going to be fuller, and I think that's a very big issue for the racetracks. I'd like to see, for example, the Sedgefield thing, I'd like to see centralised stewarding. I don't know why we're spending all this money having local stewards with all their, vague decisions in terms of like a lot of stewards will vote one way and another lot of stewards will see it another way. I think it would be much better and cheaper and more professional if we just had a panel sitting, in a centralised office at High Holborn and give them the control of every race. Why do we need a Colonel Blimp sitting at Sedgefield of an afternoon, turning around and saying, yeah, that flag was waved, we'll ban them all. Why can't we have a nice, sensible, clear system that doesn't cost the same amount of money?
In the last year, I've noticed in the last year online and via your tweets and such like on your website, you have been trying different things. You have been trying things that perhaps I never thought you would.
Bonus junkies.
Yeah, you've tried things that I would expect from the big boys. Have they worked out? How have they worked out?
No, that was an unmitigated disaster. If there's any bookmakers out there that that are thinking about trying this tactic, don't. What we did is we looked at what the big firms are doing, and what they do is they offer sign-up bonuses. So a customer opens an account, and they either match a wager that the customer has, or maybe if the customer loses £50, maybe they'll give him another £20 or something like that, and they'll put money in his account and all the rest of it. It's quite carefully worded and everything else like that. So we tried it for a while. It was both amusing and expensive at exactly the same time. But basically, what happens is we offered, say, £30. So we said to a customer, well, if you must deposit 60. But on your first wager, we'll give you half your stake back up to £30. So what we found is we had literally hundreds and thousands of people who opened up accounts and deposited exactly £60. In other words, to get put £60 on something and get the full £30 back. So in other words, they're having £60 bet for £30, and if it got beat, you get £30 back. It's all lovely. The problem with that was that you get no loyalty from those people, absolutely none. That's why we coined the phrase in our office, bonus junkies. And as soon as they opened up their account and they wanted to deposit £60, that was it. We just marked them up, bonus junkies. And they would come on, they would have a few bets, some would win, some would lose. Overall, of course, it would cost us as a business, because we were making, substantial investment in new business. And they would basically exhaust their funds and or collect their cheque, and you would never hear from them again. They have absolutely no loyalty. They're not regular customers. They're not loyal customers, and so in the future we will be looking at different schemes to to keep our customers. I mean, we have a scheme in place right now to reward our customers in terms of like giving them money back over a quarter. So every quarter we will give money back to our customers, and every time a customer pays us, we'll give them a minimum of 5% back on their payments, our credit clients and deposit clients. So we give them immediate credit back, for every payment they make. So we are continuously trying, and we'll come up with something different next year. But what it won't be is just a simple, we'll give you money scheme. If you have a bet with us, we'll give you £30 back, because that's just unmitigated disaster. They're just basically nothing other than, a lot of them are just, as we call them, bonus junkies.
But the big boys consider it's worth.
The big boys do consider it the worth. Well, one of the reasons is because they're running a different operation to us. Obviously, we're focused mainly on racing and sport, whereas large and successful firms like William Hill are based mainly on roulette, casino, and things like that, and machines.
One thing I have noticed you've changed is, for all your disparaging remarks about the great game of soccer in years past, oik ball, as you call it.
Oik ball, yeah.
You're forever at it now, promoting football and football bets.
Well, I mean, obviously, football is. I mean, I don't have to like the sport to bet on it. I mean, I don't like to. I mean, I wouldn't watch a 10-pin bowling match to save my life, but I'll offer a bet on it. But football's a huge betting medium. You can't ignore it, and it's on the increase. As racing decreases, football is taking up the slack. So yeah, I mean, and we've worked hard on our markets. We've reduced our overround on football markets to 100, around about 104 right now, and we're offering many more markets and things like that. On our website and through the app, and we're also working to develop the app, make it a bit better. So yeah, we are continuously trying to evolve, but in our own way.
Yeah.
But I think what guys get with us, or girls get with us when they bet with us, basically is a better feel of service. We give them the prices, and we give them the service. We give them refunds if your horse gets beat by a neck or less on any race.
Right.
We give them best odds guaranteed on any horse on the show. And we give them money back when they deposit. And all
But
so we try.
You weren't doing that a year ago, were you?
No.
We had a conversation about best odds guaranteed, and you poo-pooed it.
No, I've weakened. I know. I don't think my old man would have weakened, but I have. You tend to remember the days where you lose money.
Right.
I mean, I remember being, attending Cheltenham after 3 races on the Friday, which was the Gold Cup day, and being $250,000 down. But I had a company, betting with me during the course of that week, and they were doing best part of 150 grand, and we're talking Denman years, 5-6 years ago, because like that, when business was very busy, and I did lay two horses. One were probably not best advised to lay. One was a horse called Cato Star, and the other one was a horse called Wichita Lineman, which ever since Wichita Lineman won, I mean, I won't speak to McCoy again, ever again. Ever.
As a betting medium, what's the Grand National like for a Geoff Banks type operation?
It's huge. Yeah. It's huge. So I would say it has to be nigh on #1 event, in that we have the majority of my customers, I would expect them to have a bet on the Grand National.
Right.
We always do a little tonic for them. We always do a bet for what we call for the misses, and we allow them a free £5 or £5 each way.
How politically correct of you, Geoff.
Politically correct.
A bet for the misses.
A bet for the misses. So basically, it doesn't matter, their sex, but they can come on and have their free wager on the National, and usually they're pretty fair with me and have a couple of other bets as well to help pay for it. So, everybody bets a few horses in the National. So we do that as a little touch, but the National is by far and away the biggest betting.
It's a good day for you, usually. Depends.
Is it highly It has been the last few years, right, because the places have been good.
Right.
Not just about. It's not just. Sometimes you can have a 33-to-1 chance to win the National and think you must have got bundles at a race, but if the places are bad, you'll lose. Yeah. Definitely lose. Especially now with offering 5 places.
And you look forward to Cheltenham?
Always. It's the pinnacle of British racing, I think, for me, but as a bookmaker. And I think for all the people that really, really love the sport, I think Cheltenham is the meeting that they want to attend. Obviously, Royal Ascot is an iconic event and whatever, but you'll get a varying mix of people that go to attend there. So it's more of a social event than a betting event. You know, whereas Cheltenham is pretty much a pure betting event. People go there to have a bet. You know, they run around in that ridiculous tweed, and I just think it's a fantastic racetrack as well. You know,
Yeah,
it really is you know, it's not often, and I think that's what catches a lot of you know, well-touted horses out. I mean, I'm delighted to see Forheen, the new one, win so well on the weekend against a load of trees, because of course everybody will be shortening them up for Cheltenham, imagining they can't possibly get beat, and that's what happens. They run up against, you know, run up against complete rubbish. And of course the situation will be completely different when we get to the Champion Hurdle, because they'll be going twice as fast for 2 miles, running up against entirely better horses over the rolling hills of Cheltenham. That's why we get different results.
And if we're sat here 12 months from now, you won't have moved to Gibraltar, I presume, for reasons you stated previously.
No, I won't have moved to Gibraltar. I will have continued my assault on the Gambling Commission until I get somebody in at that organisation or in the DCMS to recognise, you know, that things in business and in life should be fair.
Okay with that. So if it came down to